Hi students, we're in the last few days before the semester begins here, and so I wanted to take the opportunity to welcome you to our class and welcome you to History 321, Study of Ancient Greece and Rome. Very excited for the class and wanted to take the opportunity to welcome you and to say how happy we are that you're here, not just on my own behalf, but also on behalf of the History Department at Eastern New Mexico University and behalf of the university itself. Without wanting to be overly dramatic, it's certainly the case that our society is living through some challenging times at the moment. And I know that there's a real tendency to want to make yourself small and kind of hunker down and not really engage in anything, because who knows what the situation will be in days or weeks' time. But I also know that it's very important to take charge of the things that are in our control, to continue to move forward and to live our lives, to take the next step in our lives. And we're really excited that you're making Eastern New Mexico University, that you're making this class a part of that next step in your life. That you see this class as part of the steps you are taking to move forward with the goals and the dreams that you have for the years that are ahead of you. So a particular welcome, a particular message to say that I'm very happy that you're here and that you're taking this class. My hope is also, and this is something that I've been thinking about in preparing for the class, is that the study of history and even the study of ancient history can be a real source of inspiration at this time. We're going to focus on the Greeks and the Romans, of course, but we're going to begin right at the beginning of civilization in the Mediterranean world. We're going to see how human beings who had really very little except their own ingenuity were able to create, were able to build, were able to develop civilizations that encompassed immense achievements. And that in doing so, they faced times when they were uncertain. They faced times when they were afraid. They faced times when they were uneasy about what they were doing and how they would move forward. That is undoubtedly the question. And I think looking back to ancient history can be a source of encouragement for us to show that human beings have faced great challenges in the past, but that human beings are able to overcome them. Human beings are able to find solutions to great challenges and to move forward. That's part of the inspiration of history. And I just want to reference back to the first video that I've given you to watch in week one, a video that's kind of like an overview of Greek and Rome civilizations. And the video is kind of broad-reaching, makes some pretty broad claims in about 5 minutes. These ideas like a Greek empire, these are not really accurate, as you'll see when we move deeper into the course. But there is, to me, a big part of the reason why I chose that video was that there's something that's really magnificent about the opening shots, the opening aerial shots that show the Parthenon, the great iconic Greek temple of Athens at night. There's something about that image, and it's amazing that it speaks to us today. It undoubtedly speaks to us today, 2,500 years later, that for some reason, for almost everyone, throughout that span of time, that has been seen as an attractive building, as a beautiful building. What was it about the ancient Greeks that led them to construct buildings like that? How were they able to do it? How was it that these people who lived so long ago were able to construct something that we find so impressive, that strikes such a chord with us today? What must we share with those human beings from so long ago that we find that common sense of appreciation? And I think that's one of the reasons why the study of ancient Greek and Roman history is so fascinating even today. That we're studying these civilizations from thousands of years ago, and we still find points of commonality that are at the heart of history, finding the points of human connection, a similar human identification with human beings in the past. And with the Greeks and the Romans, we see ideas about what it means to be a citizen, that it's important to be a citizen of a particular place. We see ideas about education, learning, science. We see ideas about Roman law and government. These approaches are approaches that we can still identify with today, that we can still learn from today, that we can still be inspired by today. And my hope is that that's what this course will provide you with, a sense of how our identities in the modern world are still shaped by Greece and Rome, that our identities in the modern world can still converse with the Greeks and the Romans. If an ancient Greek or an ancient Roman showed up in Portales, New Mexico today, and you could speak the same language, could you have a conversation with that person? I think you could. I think they'd be very confused about some aspects of life. That's not surprising. But could you have a conversation with them? Would you share similar values, similar goals? I think you probably would. And I think that's a big part of why it's so important to study the history of the ancient world. To know that even human beings who are so separate from us in so many ways still have so many points in common, so many values in common, so many goals in common. And that's what we're going to try and look at in this course. And so just to give you a brief sense of what's going on in week one, I'm going to try and provide sort of a short video each week to give you a sense of where we are in the class. Typically, my week ones are in these classes are fairly relaxed, but in this class we're going to jump right into the material. And so this week you have a couple of short videos. You have that short first video, just kind of to give you a sense of what ancient Greece and Rome were like, just to kind of get you in the mood, as it were. Like I say, it's not particularly accurate. It would be really fun to go back to that video in 14 weeks' time and see what you've learned, but that's just a video to get you in the mood. And we have a couple of other short videos that are about early Neolithic settlements and a much longer documentary about Jericho. And so this week, really the first 2 weeks of the class, we're setting the stage for the rest of the class. We're setting the stage for studying the Greeks and the Romans. What was the context in the ancient Mediterranean world in which Greece and Rome emerged? And so in order to do that, we're going to go right back to the very beginnings of civilization. We're going to look at the Neolithic Revolution, and we're going to see why that happened. We're going to look at the very earliest settlements in this region. We're going to look at their achievements. We're going to look at their values. We're going to look at the challenges that they faced. So you have those videos to look at. I'm going to record our lecture material for the week, probably on Tuesday. And that will be posted in Blackboard, probably through the media site link. And then you also have a journal entry to complete and a discussion board to complete. But the discussion board is pretty simple. You're just introducing yourselves. So hopefully you'll get full credit for that. So that's all I have for this week. I hope that kind of explains what the course is about, what we're trying to achieve in the class. And I hope it makes you excited and inspired for the remainder of the course. I know that inspiration is not going to carry you through the next 4 months. And so just to be upfront right now, if there's anything that you're intimidated about, anything that you're confused about with the class at this point, please don't hesitate to let me know. If you think of something 5 minutes after you watch this video, send me an email, make a time to meet up, and we'll sort it out. I'm committed in what looks like being kind of a strange and perhaps confusing semester to being exceptionally accessible to you when you need help. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Sorry about the confusion with the textbook yesterday, but that is all correct now. So everything you see on the syllabus, in the modules, and in the bookstore, they all correspond. It's the Nagel textbook that you want. Don't worry if the Rome sourcebook is a little bit different. When I spoke to the bookstore, it turns out there is an ebook and a paperback and a hardback, and they're all a little bit different in some of the details, but in the fundamentals, they're the same. And then the Greek book, there doesn't seem to be a problem with that. So as I said, I'm sorry about that, but it should be cleared up at this point. But if you're confused at all or you're confused about anything else, just let me know, and I'm looking forward to the beginning of the semester.